Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to the 2008 Cleveland Browns Bash. I'm your host, AJ, here with the Week 13 edition of the show, and let's just say I'm not very thrilled this week, as I doubt many of you are. It was a pretty bad game last week against the Houston Texans. We looked pathetic, and I was and am ashamed. It was sad. We looked like a circus against the Texans, and that's really putting it quite nicely. So I'm sorry, first off, that the show is up so late this week. I always try to get it up earlier, but with the Thanksgiving goings-on, just, having time off really, I guess, causes you to kind of, not do things that you're supposed to on time, and that's one of the reasons that the show's up so late, and also just the fact that last week was so embarrassing. I haven't been too excited to get this done, but here I am. The important thing is that it's up. Let's get into the game against the Texans really quick here. Our quarterback situation was really bad. Brady Quinn and Derek Anderson, horrible completion percentages, horrible quarterback ratings, 3 interceptions combined. Derek Anderson had a fumble, although you could credit it to Jamal Lewis. It could have gone either way. It was just awful. Running the ball, I said last week we needed to run the football. We had 20 carries as a team, and we ran the ball good, but we only had 20 carries. We averaged 4.8 yards per carry, but we didn't stick to it. And that was with the horrible passing game going on. I didn't understand it at all. It's not like we were down by 20. It was sad. That's really all I have to say about the game against the Texans. It was filth. So getting to our game against the Indianapolis Colts in Cleveland, it's our second to last home game of the season, and we haven't been too good there so far this year. So that's not, a big deal, I guess. Now, the thing I want to say before I talk about the keys is, as I said last week, this is the game against the team that kept us out of the playoffs last year, so I've been looking forward to this. And I knew we were going to play the Colts at the end of last season when, we missed the playoffs, and I've been looking forward to this game. Now, I was hoping we'd be a contender at this point, and we're not, but we can still play spoiler, because the Colts are up there with the competing teams in the AFC, and they're not going to win the division. So this is a huge game for us. In my opinion, playing spoiler, this could be really fun. Getting to the keys, the first one is to cover the long ball. The Colts rank 6th in the NFL with 250 passing yards per game, but average a mere 79 rushing yards per game, which is 30th in the league. And this does not mean that the Browns can just sit back and relax against the run tomorrow when playing the Colts, because as we saw against the Bills, they doubled their average rushing yards per game against us. So we need to just, keep an eye on the run, but we need to focus on playing the pass because the Colts are very efficient at moving the ball through the air. I found this very interesting. The Colts are the only team in the NFL at this point in the season with 4 receivers that have 45 or more receptions, and that's remarkable in my opinion for them to be the only team. They're only 7-4, but as I said, their running game isn't amazing. Now, to stop the effectiveness, or at least slow it down a little bit, we could always try to put a little pressure on Peyton Manning. But as we have seen most of the season, especially in last week's game against the Texans, rushing the quarterback is not in our playbook. So that's going to be something that we're just not going to have the benefit of doing on Sunday. Now, my second key is just like last week's second key, and that is to run the football, but this time imagine it in all capital letters, because we did not do it last week. As I said last week, I stressed getting Jamal Lewis the ball 20 times, at least. Instead, we only carried the ball 20 times as a team, and Jamal Lewis only had 10 of those carries. And, he is a talent that is critical to our success, and I just hope our coaches can get that through their heads, because right now I don't think they understand that. This week it's especially important to rely on the run, because Indianapolis lets up 137 rushing yards per game, which is 25th in the NFL this year. So we need to run the ball, because the Colts have shown that when teams run the ball against them, those teams get pretty good yardage. So let's see if we can do that. And my third and final key is for the Browns to just chill out. Our season is toast, and now there's nobody left to disagree with me. Despite it being all but over, even last week against the Texans, we just looked uptight. Now's the time to just relax and play the game. From here on out, it's all about where we fall in the draft order. I talk a lot about playing spoiler, and that would be great to see this week, especially against the Colts. But at this point in the season, though, we just need to take it easy. In my opinion, one of the main reasons why we looked so bad last week against the Texans is we looked like we were trying too hard to do little things. I think I just said for the 50th time, but against the Colts, we should just let it all hang out. So let's hope that we do that. Those are my three keys, and let's hope things turn out for the best. Some quick notes and numbers. The Browns lead the all-time series against the Colts 15-13, and Cleveland is 6-1 all-time in games played on November 30th. So those are two good stats. Here's a bad stat. Peyton Manning is 4-0 all-time against the Browns as the Colts starting quarterback. So, we're 6-1 all-time on November 30th, but Peyton Manning's 4-0 all-time against us. Which way is it going to go this Sunday? I do not know. And my fourth and final note, this is something that I have not mentioned yet, but I'm sure most of you know. Brady Quinn is out for the remainder of the 2008 NFL season after worsening the fracture on his right index finger, which is his throwing hand, and last week against Houston. So that's disappointing, but that's what it is. Now my pick, Indianapolis by 9, and to be blunt, that is being very generous to the Browns. The Colts should have a field day dissecting our secondary with their powerful passing attack, and we need to hope that we can limit their time on the field by running the football and slowing the game down, but we need first downs in order to do that, and first downs are not easy to come by for the Browns this season. Now, if we stick to running the football, things may turn out good, but even if we gain solid yardage on the ground, things may not go our way. So, in my opinion, to win this one, we are going to need a good deal of luck. And that is it. Colts by 9, that's my spread. And as usual, I hope I'm wrong. I've only picked the Browns 3 times this season, but we're only 4-7, so no one can blame me. I'm still suffering from last week. It was sad. Hopefully, this week is better. We will see. This has been a preview of our game against the Indianapolis Colts, and I will be back with you guys next week. Hopefully not on Saturday night, with a preview of our game against the Tennessee Titans and a recap of our game against the Indianapolis Colts. And hopefully, as I always say, hopefully I bring good news. So this is the 2008 Cleveland Browns Bash, and I'm your host, AJ. I'll see you guys next week.
1 minute, you're on.